How Basketball Saved My Life is sponsored by the Hall at the Rail House, Norman's premier event space in the heart of downtown. Weddings, receptions, corporate events, luncheons, banquets, proms, parties, and more. If you're looking for a place to celebrate life, we hope you'll choose the Hall at the Rail House, located in downtown Norman. The Hall at the Rail House is a 100-year-old event space with wood floors, exposed bricks, and beautiful wood barrel ceilings. With plentiful parking and many packages to choose from, the Hall is the perfect spot for your next event. For more information, please visit therailhousenorman.com or call 405-778-0003.
This episode is brought to you by Chris Express Drugs located in South OKC. For all your sports medicine needs, call 405-735-3950.
This episode is also brought to you by Emmy Labs. They have partnered with State Department of Health to bring you free COVID-19 tests. Go to www.emmylabs.com to find a testing location near you. That's a major move. Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of How Basketball Saved My Life. I'm your host, the Easy Button. And we have a very special guest in here for y'all today. Miss Katelynn Hall and little Iverson, AI in the building. Hey, listen, man, How Basketball Saved My Life has come a long way. We got Iverson in the building.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So
newborn, too.
Newborn Iverson. The next generation is here. The next generation is here. So, Katelynn, how are you today?
Doing good.
Doing good.
We're
got
here.
Your hands full. And we wouldn't have it any other way because this is real life. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
You just came from hooping.
Yes.
Did y'all get the W?
Yes. It was ugly, but we won.
What's ugly? Define ugly.
We got down by about 15 in the first 10 minutes, and we got back about 2 minutes before halftime. We went on a little run. We were down by 2 at halftime. Then we got back down by about 10 in the second half. Then about 6 minutes we went on a run, and we ended up winning by 15. So
wow. So
yeah.
He over there calling her agent.
He's like, is she telling the truth? So why was it such an up and down affair? Did y'all just not take them serious?
I think, for us, I know that they've had the Skins League going and stuff, and I know men have been playing. We haven't been playing. You know, our competitive league hasn't been running. We haven't played since February.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. Shoot, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we haven't played since our last league in February. So, I mean, we tried to do some pickup and stuff. You know, a couple of us, we get some girls together and we try to get a competitive pickup, but it's hard to do that. You know, girls got kids and jobs and lives, and sometimes when it's the end of the day, you don't want to go play pickup. You want to go to sleep.
Right.
You know?
Where this league at?
We play at Municipal, so it's the Rex. You know, it's the City of Oklahoma Rex.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been there. I think my wife played in that league a little bit. Is it like a green gym?
I think that is it green? They painted it. They used to be. They painted it. Okay. Yeah. I think it did. I think the floor may be green or like the out of bounds.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking about. I think I've been there. That league always jumping though. It's always running.
Yeah, the women's league. It's the only competitive women's league, you know, in Oklahoma City. So they also run a rec league, but we never enter that because it's not. I mean, you don't want to go. You know, yeah, we don't want to go here. I'm about to.
Man, that's super cool though, because you know I don't hear about enough of women's pickup in women's leagues.
Facts.
Is that something, you know, is that something that y'all want to keep going, and how does it keep going?
Well, I think, you know, especially like my team, you know, we all played D1, D2, and most of us played overseas at some point, or at some professional level at some point. And so for us, it's important to us that we still get to play. You know, I'm relatively young. I'm almost 30.
Right.
So I want to be able to hoop for as long as I can. It helps me keep my kid in the gym, introduce him to the game. So for me, I know for my team, like, it's a big deal that we get to hoop. And so I think that's why we also try to because we try to do pickup a couple times a week if we can. For a while we were doing it every Thursday, and then we kind of lost gyms and stuff like that. But
that's tight though.
Yeah.
That's tight.
So, but it's harder to get girls to hoop. Like, guys, you can call. It's easy to get guys to go hoop, but girls, especially like.
You can call us on the drop of a dime.
Yeah.
Get up and go.
At least 10 to 15 people.
But girls are like, well, I already got plans, and I already got this, and I already got commitment.
My hair did.
I got my hair done today.
Yeah.
I took a shower already,
Yeah.
you know.
I got a homie, he take a shower before he go hoop. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Look, I know a lot of dudes that do that. They, they shower, they hoop, then they shower again.
That's weird to me, but that's neither here nor there. That's, you know what I'm saying? We're going to move on past that. So, then how'd you get started hooping, and when did you get started hooping?
So my mom, I come from a real small town. I'm from Idaho. And my mom was actually a high school basketball coach. Oh. And so I was a little kindergarten kid out there running around with my mom's girls. You know, I was in the gym all the time with her.
That's fire.
Yeah. And my mom actually, she coached basketball and volleyball. So I was around both, yeah. But so I think I started playing. My sister was in 4th grade and I was in 2nd grade when I played on my sister's sport because I was really tall, obviously.
How tall are you now?
I'm 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah. So I played on my sister's, her rec team when I was in 2nd grade, and that's when I first started.
And she was in 4th grade?
Yeah, she's 2 years older than me. I didn't really get to play. They let me go in and like pass the ball a couple times, and then but I think by the time I was in 3rd grade, like I was actually like playing the whole game, and and then by the time I was in 4th grade, I had been playing so much longer. So the girls that were just starting, like I think I was in 4th grade, and we had a rec game, and I scored 52 points, and everybody's like, "You're a ball hog," and I was like, "No."
Ball hog.
I was like, "Really, this is what I did." Really, what I did was I would go. I was so much taller than them, right? So they'd bring the ball down, and I would guard whoever had the ball, and I'd throw my hands up, and I'd steal the ball and run down score late. And I just did that. I just did that for 4 quarters, and then finally my coach was like, "Sit down."
Yeah. like how much were y'all up by that point?
Oh, I don't even know that the other team scored. I think they had to take me out for the whole 4th quarter because they were just like, but he couldn't what's he gonna do?
Please,
Tell
baby
me no.
Jesus, let that be my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I would just I would enjoy that.
It's in the
Man, yeah. So I started playing relatively young. I've been around the game a long time. And obviously, I played all through high school, college, overseas. So.
All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're giving too much away, right?
Oh.
So, what about, you said you was around volleyball too.
Yeah.
When did you start playing that?
About the same time.
2nd, 4th grade?
Yeah. Well, I didn't ever play competitive volleyball until I was able to go at the school level. You know, they didn't have
clubs and things like that.
You keep kicking my shoe off. Yeah, so they had it, but it just wasn't something that I was able to get into. So I started playing basketball because they had the young rec leagues, and then they didn't have rec league for volleyball until I was in 6th grade. So that's when I first started actually playing. But again, I was around it so long that I was actually really good at it. You know?
Did you ever like volleyball more than basketball at any point?
No.
Never?
I enjoyed volleyball. Don't get me wrong. I really
Volleyball's a fun sport.
It is. It's super fun. I played, I played varsity as a freshman in high school. I made the varsity volleyball team, and but I just always basketball. I don't know why. There's no explanation. I was always just basketball. I also rodeoed and ran track.
Hold up.
Yeah, that always throws people for a loop.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
So when did you start rodeo?
I was probably 3 riding a horse in a rodeo. Yeah, no, I never did mutton busting or none of that. I was not that kid.
I don't know why. I think I've been listening to too much Kids Bop because Old Town Road just popped in my head. I swear that just popped in my head.
Yeah, no. So I rodeoed, but my parents both rodeoed in college, but rodeo was big in my family, so I kind of.
Is that an Idaho thing?
It gotta be.
I mean, I know. We would go to nationals, and people from every state were there. You know.
Nationals and rodeo.
Yeah,
you just opened my eyes up to a whole new world.
Oh, we can have a whole conversation. We could probably do a whole episode on that if you.
Yo, nationals and rodeo. Y'all probably got
And these are young kids.
Yeah, I mean.
Or what age did you start rodeoing?
I mean, I probably was 3 or 4 the first time I went.
What, you was riding a goat?
A horse?
You can't ride no horse at 3.
Yeah, I did. I think I was riding.
Baby goat.
I was riding a horse by myself, but I think I was 2, 3.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Them experiences, you're able to say you've done so many different things already. That's phenomenal to me, for real. you probably played AAU rodeo. You know what I'm saying?
They don't have AAU rodeo, but I get what you mean.
Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? So, dang. So then, at any point, I know you were playing volleyball and basketball. At any point, did you just stop playing volleyball and specialize in basketball?
I played volleyball until I was a senior in high school.
Until you couldn't no more.
Until I couldn't no more, and I had to. It wasn't until I went to college that I played 4 sports until I went to college. At no point in high school, because I went to a 2A school, so it was like we didn't have enough kids to just have volleyball and basketball. So if you played one sport, you basically played every sport.
Because that's the beauty of a small town. Though,
it
right?
is. It's wonderful, and I'm very thankful that I grew up the way I grew up. And I think because of where I grew up, I was lucky enough to develop a different type of work ethic, because that work ethic, I think, is what fueled, my career past high school. But yeah, being such a small town, but I mean, it wasn't always easy. Like, so I had rodeo in the spring. And track. So I did both. And then during the summer, I would have basketball and rodeo. So
rodeo was year round. Low key.
Yeah, well, rodeo starts in the spring, and then it's called districts, right? So like basically Idaho's broken up into districts, and you go and you rodeo. You have a certain amount of rodeos in your district.
And these are these are rodeo teams for the high school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bro. Oh, man, there's a whole new world out there.
Yeah. Man, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go to your district, and depending on how you place in your district, you go to state. Well, state's not until mid-June. Usually, depending on certain states, I know have it at different times, right? And then the national tournament. Yeah, no, the national rodeos for high school is in mid-July, so it goes through the whole summer. So I had to learn a lot about balancing both and prioritizing and time commitments.
So it sounds like rodeo might have been a favorite at some point.
I did. I really struggled. I had a couple of offers to go rodeo in college, and it wasn't
rodeo in college.
Oh yeah,
we about to turn this show into how rodeo saved
I want to go rodeo with
Yo, for real.
Yeah, they got like you ever heard of the national finals rodeo in Texas Texas? It's in Texas this year, but it's usually in Vegas. Yeah, there's a big rodeo.
I be seeing it on ESPN, but I be wondering would they just bring a bull and just be like, hey, I want to play in this rodeo tournament or something? But nah, these fools probably really been rodeoing their whole life in school. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's definitely a big. I mean, it's like any other sport. Time commitment, learning.
So so I played soccer a little bit growing up, then I played basketball. Once I picked up basketball, I put down every other sport. Mm-hmm. He played, you played basketball, ran track, football. All that, right? So I'm going to try to make this the last rodeo question, okay?
Okay.
So,
hey, we had a rodeo team now.
Hey, listen though. He talks about how all those sports help one another. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so he's like, he wished I would have played football because he felt like it would have helped my basketball game.
You're a little strong playing over there.
So I guess my question is, how did rodeo help your basketball game? Like, did it help in any way?
I mean, that's a good question. I think I would like to say yes. And if nothing else, like, you have to be tough to rodeo. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, it's not like, first of all, just like real quick story. I ran barrels, and so like basically you run around some cans, right?
Right.
The barrels were metal, and I hit a barrel. If you hit a barrel, it's 5-second penalty to your time. And I still have a chunk missing from my leg, and my boot was like full of blood, and like my bridle had broke off my horse, which is the reins that you hold on to.
Right.
And so it had broke, and so I had to get off and walk. And you could see my bone because of where I hit the barrel. And I just walked off, my mom was like, oh, I'm surprised you're even walking right now. Which, I mean, not saying like other sports don't make you tough, because I'm sure football, like I can't imagine.
But I feel like that was your equivalent to football as a female.
Yeah.
Rodeo. So I'm sure that helped your physicality when you did get on the court.
Yeah, it just made me.
Oh.
Jump shot.
Look at the flick of the wrist.
I think because I rodeoed, like I was a little bit mentally tougher than maybe some of the other players that I played with throughout my career.
You stepped out on that court like, I'm going to own you. I'm like, what you mean?
You can't hit harder than that.
You feel me? That's tight.
Yeah.
Dang, That's a great plot twist. When I was coming into the show,
you were not expecting
I bet her box out game strong.
Yo, you was boxing out. Once they try to knock you off your path, you probably found your path right back. Balance was key.
That's dope, for real.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see if I can get us back on track. All right, boom. So, you said you played volleyball all throughout, right?
Yeah.
When did you realize in basketball, okay, I'm nice? You know what I'm saying? When did you realize that, and how did that help your confidence? Because
I think when I scored 52 points, I was just like...
he was like, I'm here.
I was like, I went home after that game and I said, and I remember this day, you know how you have memories from when you're a kid, but like there's certain things, like this day like sticks out. And I remember looking at my mom and I said, Mom, I'm gonna play professional basketball. Like I said it to her just like that. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna play professional basketball. I'm good at it. And so my mom and my dad tried.
How old were you?
So I was 4th grade, so 9, 10. So
20 years ago.
20 years ago. I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm gonna. But at that time, I didn't know anything. My parents were big on me like not watching the NBA. Like I watched college girls basketball. Why didn't you want to watch NBA? I think just because there's like so much to them. There's so much showboating and and even college men's basketball. It's
now,
more. But
I feel like back then, I feel like that'd be
and so I think for them, they're like women are more disciplined in the game than men, so they wanted me to watch girls playing and. It's good for me as a kid, and I say this to kids that I train and I work out with and stuff, and I'm like, you really need to watch the next level, right? So if I'm in high school, yeah, it's fun to go watch the WNBA, but I'm not going from high school to the WNBA. Right. I'm going from high school to college. So if you're not watching college, you don't know what's expected of you at that level. Yeah. I mean, it's good for you to watch and I think the same thing for boys. Like right now, like you're not going straight to the NBA out of high school.
That ain't happening no more. You're right.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you're going overseas, like, those kids that are like, well, I'm just going to go overseas for a year and then I'm going to come back and go in the draft. Well, you still should be watching where you're going next as well.
That's a gym. She just dropped the whole gym.
Yeah.
For real. If you're in elementary, you should watch middle school.
Exactly.
If you're in middle school, you need to go check out some of these high school games and see what the physicality is like, what the game speed is like, and try to prepare that way.
Yeah.
I was the type, though, I like to watch all levels, though. Like, I wanted to watch my level, too, as long as watching higher levels, because I wanted to see what I need to do to be better at the level I was at also. So, I mean, I feel like watching all of them is pretty good, too, just.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, and you want to know your competition, right?
Exactly.
You're like, you want to go watch the people who are your age, because you're like, oh, who's good, who's not good? I need to know who am I guarding next.
Right.
I was the opposite. I never watched my grade level or none of them. I never, if coach didn't give me the scouting report, I was not going to know who I'm playing against. And I always liked it that way because I never could psych myself up and be like, yo, he's dissing the country. You know what I'm saying? I just went out there and I played you like you was Joe Blow.
Yeah.
And I put it on you or you got the best of me and it never was nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I would have watched the competition. I don't know what that would have done with my competitive spirit, It might have made me turn up harder.
You see somebody and you be like, dang, this dude is ranked better than me and I see his game.
Right.
Yeah. I'm coming at you.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how competitive you are, right?
Yeah. Right. So then you were 9 years old and you realized, okay, I'm nice.
Yeah. That was the first time I said it out loud.
You said it out loud. You verbalized it. You know what? I'm kind of nice, mama. What you gonna do for me today? Because I'm nice. So then, boom. How'd that help your confidence? Do you remember what your confidence was like prior and then, after that realization?
I was 9, so that's a tough question. But I don't know that I was ever not confident. At least as far as, as a kid, you have all kinds of insecurities. No doubt. But as far as basketball, volleyball, I knew that I was good at sports. I knew I was an athlete. I knew that I could, I could compete
with anybody.
With anybody, and I wasn't afraid of anybody. We were a 2A school. We'd go play 4 or 5A schools, and we'd win. And I knew we'd win.
That's legit.
I knew we'd win.
Yeah, that's legit.
I never walked into a game thinking we were gonna lose. And even in college, I remember I went to a D2 school, and we played Baylor. I legitimately thought we were going to win. And my coach
How'd
was
that
like,
turn out?
we did not. We lost by I think we lost by 40. But we're playing Britney Griner but like walking in there, I was like, we're going to win.
Yeah, straight up.
And like, it didn't even faze me to be realistic. Like it never occurred to me like, no, you're not.
Well, realistically, it could happen.
It
really
could, yeah.
But it's the thing, though. Like, she felt that way, but how about the other 9?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, they thought we were going to lose.
So you're going out there working, and they're sitting there like, well, we know what was going to happen, so we're just going to go through the motions.
She just went by me. That was supposed to happen.
Right, she's a D1 player.
Oh, well. So if 9 other players, or at least 4 other players on the court felt like you felt, y'all would have had a chance.
I think so. I mean, especially my senior year, because I transferred out to OCU, and we had a nice team. Like, our team was good. We had Lauren Chambers. She had been there for forever. And she could shoot. She was 6'1". She played a guard. She didn't post up. One day I told her to go. I said, let's do a high-low. She said, no.
She's like, I'm shooting that thing.
She said, I don't post up. Right. And we had Desiree Jeffries, and she was an OSU transfer as a sophomore. And so, like, we had a really good team. And a lot of times we did have, D1 transfers that come to the NAIA level.
Right.
So we had a good team. So I legitimately thought that we had the chance to win. Like,
so
I was
you
just
believed in them girls.
Yeah, too. Like I was like, we got, we had a
Is that
transfer.
when that's when y'all played Baylor, right? That senior year?
Yeah, we played them both. I was at both schools. So we played them both my junior year of college when I was at in Colorado, and then we played them again my senior year as well when I was at OCU.
There it is. So speaking of Colorado, when did recruitment start? And how'd you pick?
I got my first offer in 8th grade.
Oh my gosh!
I was about to
I wouldn't say it wasn't an official offer, but it was like, hey,
I want you.
We want you.
We're watching.
Yeah. I was in 8th grade when I got my first.
About to hurt yourself, big dog.
Or break something.
As long as he don't break himself, that can be ball.
Well,
we good.
So that's when I got my first offer, and that's when I realized, like, oh, people are watching me, and people know who I am, which is a big deal coming from such a small town and where I come from.
Go for it. Just be careful.
There's not a lot. And then as I got older, I started actually going through the recruitment process. My high school coach, he knew some coaches, but he wasn't just, because we're such a small school, he wasn't just out there, and our school wasn't just out there.
Like that.
And so my parents actually paid for a recruiting service. So I signed up for a recruiting service as a sophomore.
In high school.
And
do you feel like you needed that? I mean, as 8th grade, you was getting attention.
I did because of the location, right? So like the offers I was getting were, the Northwest out there in like Washington, and I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to leave.
For sure.
When I first started looking, I was looking at like New York and North Carolina, and that's where I wanted to go as far away from home as possible.
Yeah, you was like, forget this.
Yeah, well, and then I actually went to the University of South Carolina, and that was my very first visit ever. And I went without my mom, and I was 16, and I went without my mom. So flying across the country with no parent, and then there was a snowstorm, so my plane got delayed. So I'm just like 16 years old, stranded in the airport, and I'm just like crying on the phone with my dad, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I ended up calling the coach, and the coach came and fixed it all and got my flights rebooked and stuff for the next day. But yeah, that's when I was like, I'm not going that far away. Yeah. So that's when I was like, okay, Colorado was about a 10-hour drive, so I was like, that was a good distance for me to be away.
So you did high school in Idaho also?
Yes. Yeah.
So when did you get to Oklahoma?
So I transferred to Oklahoma my senior year. So I played for 3 years at the D2 school in Colorado, and then my senior year.
Okay.
My coach, I remember she called me super early one morning. It was after season. She called me super early one morning. It was like 6:30, and she said, "Hey, I'm gonna go get some breakfast. I'm gonna come pick you up." And I was like, "What?" Because postseason, you're like, "What you mean?"
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And so she came and picked me up, and we drove through. I don't know how to do that. And we drove through the McDonald's drive-thru because there wasn't much where I went to school. And she said, I just want you to know, she's like, you're the first one I'm telling, but I just want you to know that I have accepted a coaching position back in Oklahoma. That's where she's from. She's from Oklahoma.
Okay.
And she was like, I've accepted the head coaching job at an NAI school there. And she was like, obviously, I want you to come with me. She was like, I know you have a lot to talk about. You'll need to talk to your family and stuff. But so that was when she, told me that she was leaving. So I was very, very close. I still am. I don't know, Latricia Trammell, she coaches for the LA Sparks now, actually. She's the assistant coach. Yeah. So
you need to get her on this show.
Hey, I'll put the word in for you. I got you.
Nikki Teasley coming.
She played with the LA Sparks. I don't know if what's her name, Miss Campbell?
Latricia Trammell.
Coach Trammell probably wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
But,
she started this is her second year with the Sparks. So her first job, and I won't tell her whole story, but her first job, yeah,
because you got to get her on here to see.
Yeah, I got you. But she went to San Antonio, so she was with them, and then when they transferred to Las Vegas, she did not go. Yeah, she got to like sit down with Coach Popovich and everything. I was like, you have no idea how jealous. Yes, you have no idea how jealous I am that you had that entire life-changing experience. Because 2 hours with Coach Popovich, like,
and that's your favorite team.
Yeah. Then she went out to LA, so she's out there now. But I was super close with her in college. I was one of those kids. I did a lot of film watching. I did a lot of extra workouts. I was always around my coach, and I enjoyed being around her. And she kind of just became that mother role away from my parents. I really struggled as a freshman, and she just, she made it okay.
To struggle and learn.
Yeah. And so there's about to be a whole mess right there.
It's all good. For those that can't see, my man just flipped the whole purse over.
Oh, man. Boy, let it rain.
We got a couple blow pops hanging out there. Some wipes, but it's all good.
He looking for something.
You're probably going to start trying to eat one of them blow pops.
Yeah.
So when she... Oh, yeah, you're not going to play in that, though. So when she left... one of my biggest conditions was my point guard at the time. She's one of my very, very best friends, and her name's Jessica Langston.
Okay.
And so she came out there with us, and so she was actually supposed to start with us my sophomore year. Some stuff came up, some family stuff, some life stuff, and so she ended up coming in January and then redshirting. And then she started as a junior with me because she's technically a year older than me, but she played. We were juniors and seniors together, and so we kind of sat down and talked, and we were both like, we're gonna go, we're going to Oklahoma with Coach T, and that just is what it is. And my parents weren't happy about it because I was gonna be farther away from home, but to me, it's one of the best decisions I could have ever made. It was hard for me to leave Gunnison. That's where I went to school. It was really hard for me to leave Colorado. I loved Colorado. I spent summers there. I didn't go home during the summer, Yeah. We had to be back at the beginning of August anyways. And
it's pointless.
Yeah. Right. So I would just get a summer job. I'd get a summer job or two, and I'd work a summer job, and I'd do all my workouts up there. Plus, it's altitude, right? So my training was insane. Like, I remember I'd come into preseason, and all the girls that were, like, even the ones that were in Denver, because I was in the mountains.
You was up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we had the school I went to is the highest collegiate gym in the nation. Like, their altitude is the highest. So, and I remember preseason, I'd just be killing people. Like, all of our workouts and stuff, I was like, this ain't hard.
Because you stayed. Because
I stayed. So
look at them gyms.
When I did that the first summer, that's when I was like, oh, yeah. So I even stayed the summer after I knew I was transferring here. I stayed that summer to train before I came out here for my senior year.
So a lot of people go to, like, L.A. to train and Florida to train. Sound like Colorado's the move for athletes.
Well, that's where, they have the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. But where we're at, a lot of, like, professional runners and stuff go and they train for their running up there because the altitude. Like, I'm telling you, we would go play schools in Denver, which it's only like, it's, 4,000, difference.
Right.
But we would get down there, and it was like you could run for days. I was like, I would never get tired. But then we'd have home games, and I would get tired.
I need you to paint a picture for those that don't know what it's like to play in that altitude. What's it like breathing in that altitude?
It's like you can't catch your breath, like, until you get in shape. And
it's like you're asthmatic.
Yeah, and altitude sickness is real. Like, I've seen girls, like, we're not even working out and they'll throw up because the altitude just hits them so hard, especially people from, like, Minnesota and stuff where it's so low.
Right.
They'll come up there and they'll just struggle.
So people who wear them altitude masks, does it do justice?
I've never tried one, so I can't say.
I feel like
but I'm telling you, you want the real deal, go do it, because it's good. It's smart.
He about to turn the whole TV on. He about to put on basketball.
No, turn the football game on.
He's just happy y'all letting him do whatever he wants right now. He's like, Mom's not paying attention.
He's got a kid. I got two. So it's lit. It's lit. Wow, altitude training. Dang, boy, it's so much out there. Like, man, I wish I could have gone to Colorado and done something. It makes sense
why you see a lot of people, like league people, go different places to train instead of just training right back at home. They'll go to certain places, like running the mountains and stuff like that. So
it was really great. What I loved most about being in Colorado is a lot of people's preseasons are just like in the gym and on the track and in the bleachers, and we got to do a lot of stuff out in the mountains and running hills and
nature.
We got to do it. I mean, we went one day. She took us up a mountain, and so there's a lot of hiking and stuff. And she took us up a mountain. She dropped us off at the bottom and said, "See you guys at the top." That was our conditioning for that day.
And she ran off.
We had to run. Well, she drove off. We had to run.
Yo, that's funny.
And then, like, I mean, but it was. Like, it was tough. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Though.
But team bonding. And then, there'd be times where she'd be like, okay, we've put one of my favorite days. She said, okay, we set basketballs out in the mountain. You guys go find them. And she said, but you can't stop running. You can't stop running. But go find these basketballs.
Yeah.
And we had to go find like 3 basketballs out in the middle of nowhere.
That's something that I would do as a coach. That sounds
but it's cool. Like, we did a lot of really cool stuff like that.
It's not boring. It's not monotonous.
Yeah. I think at one point we all came running back with a tree. Like, all of us were holding like a broken down tree, and we're like,
yo, this coach is fired.
Yeah, she was really creative with our workouts. It was super fun. I mean, don't get me wrong.
And that's why you went with her.
Yeah.
To OCU? Was it OCU?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually committed. I gave my verbal to Oregon State. I was going to go to Oregon State. And then I had one trip left. She called me the day I lost the state championship game my senior year.
At which school?
At high school.
In Idaho?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she called me the day I lost the championship game, and I'm sitting there and I'm still mad and I'm crying, and she was like, well, just come visit us. And I had one, you get 5 visits. Right. I had 1 visit left. I was like, I've never been to Colorado. Me and my mom are going to go to Colorado. And I was like, why not? I hadn't signed yet, so why not? So I went. I came home and said, Mom, I'm going there.
Over Oregon State?
Yeah. It was.
I mean, it's think about it, though. Look how, bop that noggin. Look how far that coach has gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just goes to show that she was good at what she did because, you know what I'm saying, she had y'all, I'm sure y'all had some success, and then she went on to achieve more success for herself.
Yeah.
So she was really gifted, and it sounded like y'all had a good team y'all first couple years in Colorado.
Well, we did. I was very fortunate that part of the reason I chose the school that I chose was because I wanted to go into an organization and play with players for multiple years. I didn't want to go somewhere where I was going to play with, they had a bunch of seniors and they're bringing in a freshman and, you're going to replace them next year. No, I wanted to go somewhere where I can play right now.
Right.
And I can play with these players for years. Like, I don't want to just go play with these players. I want to be better.
You wanted to be in a program.
Yeah. I wanted to be better. I wanted us to be better collectively by the time I was a senior than waiting and trying to come in as a freshman and be one of 3 other freshmen,
Right.
So that was a big thing for me.
So what positions did you play?
Thank you.
I played the 5. I was a center in college, so I actually jumped center, and but I was really strong. Like that was one thing about me.
You did rodeo, so right. They go that rodeo again.
But then once I got to the professional level, I realized I was undersized, and so I did develop in my game more. So I started playing more of the 3-4. I did play the 5 when I went to Argentina, but.
So let's rewind real quick, right? You get there your senior year. You even had a run at Baylor. You lost. How'd that senior year go, and when did you realize you were going to play overseas?
It went good. We lost our first 2 games. We were a brand new team, brand new coach, a bunch of new players from everywhere. So we lost our first two games to some D2 schools. So they were at, Southwestern, and I can't remember the other one. And then we went undefeated in our regular season. We started conference play and went undefeated. We didn't lose another game. And then we went to the district tournament, and we actually lost the championship. But about this time, we're ranked number 1 in the country.
Right.
So it didn't matter. So we went to nationals anyways.
You can't eat them all, bro.
God,
watch me.
Watch me. Trying to put them all in his mouth.
You can't have these, period. We're going to end up... Nope. So y'all end up being number 1 in the state, and then y'all took the L. Well, we lost at the district tournament. Then we got to the national tournament, and we actually drew a really good schedule. NAI national tournament is not like NCAA, so it's not spread out. It's basically a week.
Right.
And so we went in and we played, I think we played Thursday, and then we played Friday, and then we had like Saturday, Sunday off, and then we played Monday, and then and then the Final Four was Tuesday, Wednesday, something very similar to that. And so we drew a really good schedule where we didn't have to play back-to-back days, and we got to have like an extra day off, and then the time. So we made it to the Final Four, and we lost in the Final Four to go to the championship game, which was really that was heartbreaking for me because I
Who'd you lose to?
Lee University, I think is what they were called.
Come on, man. You can't lose to a team named Lee.
But they were good, and they had a good team. The team that won the national championship that year, we had already beaten earlier in the season. They were a team out of California, and we went to California and played in a tournament there, and we had already beat them. And we smacked them, too.
I mean, that's
we
the
beat them like 25.
Coming for y'all neck then.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
We didn't get to play them.
That's what I'm saying. When a team that you beat wins the whole thing,
this is the worst.
That's a
same thing happened to me my senior year of high school. The team that beat us for the championship, we had never lost to, ever.
They came for that net.
But it's hard to beat a team multiple times too. So so then now that happens. You go there, you lose before the championship game. When did you realize, like, okay, I think I'm gonna make a run at overseas? And did you ever consider WNBA?
Yes to both questions. I actually started my overseas process before my senior season was over. Coach T knew that was always my end goal. I came into her program from day one as a freshman. She knew I wanted to go play professional basketball. There was
because you said that at 9 years old.
I was 9 years old. And so she and I actually sat down in January of my senior year of college, and she had gotten some combine letters and stuff and some invitations, and she had gotten some letters from overseas teams and stuff just asking for film on me and things like that. And so we had actually already started the process, and so I was ready to leave
as soon as season ended.
As season ended.
Did you have a specific place you wanted to go to, or you just didn't care?
I didn't care. And it's hard. Overseas is hard getting your foot in the door, especially for girls. It's harder for girls. It's easier if you're a D1 athlete. I was fortunate that I had my NCAA background because that's a big deal.
Can you rewind back to that? It's easier if you play D1 to go overseas.
Definitely.
That's where I dropped the ball. So even though I got to do it very little, very short, I thought, you good, you just going to go. And it's just not like that.
It's not.
Still politics.
Well, they want to see that you can do it, right? They want to see that you're going to come in and and I say this all the time because I talk to a lot of young girls, that are getting ready to do that, and they're just like, well, how'd you make it? And I'm like, perseverance, because it wouldn't.
Confidence.
You trust me, and especially like my first job. I signed my first job for $600 a month. Like, thank God I didn't have bills back here.
Right.
Anything to time, And I was fortunate that my parents, they helped me out and they helped do stuff.
And you didn't have a kid yet.
Yeah, I didn't have I
that.
didn't have any responsibilities. So the first time I left, it was easy, And then of course I made more money the longer I did it, So
sure.
My first job I went on, I went for 6 weeks. I went to Australia for 6 weeks, and I played for 6 weeks, and I only made $600 a month,
Right.
So really I brought home $1,000.
Right.
Because I was only there for 6 weeks. So
For sure.
I didn't make it. I didn't make any money really.
But
Was it worth it?
You got to play basketball and you got more film.
I got film and I built my resume, right?
Built your resume.
And so then I get home and I get another phone call 2 days after I got home. They said, hey, Thailand's playoffs are coming up. We want you. I'm getting calls. At this time, I didn't even have an agent. Like, I was just lucky that my coach connected me with the right people. And so they said, hey, it's $6,000 for 6 weeks in their playoffs.
You just doubled up.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Double up.
So then I leave and go to Thailand for 6 weeks and make $6,000. And the thing that you have to realize though is a lot of contracts have things in them, like they have incentives, double bonuses, things like that. So like, and I got a double every game. Like I averaged a double. So I was getting to make more money than what I originally signed for. And then, teams always give you like if you win by a certain amount or whatever, you get more money. I think he might tear that up.
He already had the cell phone. We straight made a couple calls.
You're like, look, I didn't sign up to have to clean up.
Nah, like I remember, I don't know, Twan, if you remember when we was doing that semi-pro, that minor league in Florida,
right.
And I had that chance to go to Italy,
right.
And they were offering 600 euros. I don't know the numbers. It's like $800 US or maybe less or whatever the case might be, right? They were offering 600 euros, and at the time where I was in my life, I'm like, I can't take that.
That's like for somebody coming right out of high school.
It's great.
Ain't got nothing to do, but they still trying to hoop and chase it. Like,
yeah.
At the time, I'm already 25, 26. Right. I already got a kid. You know what I'm saying? I've already got all of this pressure on me.
Yep.
That the coach or whoever was messaging me, the team owner, I can't remember. He was like, please come. It's Italy.
Yeah.
It's third league, but it's Italy, and we have a very good Division I league that they will see you and they will love you. Just come for me. Just come.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, at the end of the day, I can't put this type of pressure on my wife to, for me to leave and be gone for however long, it was gonna be. So it was just tough, man. So I just want people to know, it's like, if you're gonna do it, one, don't have a whole kid.
Don't have a whole life commitment.
Like don't have a whole kid. Like Twan said, do it right out of high school, and you gotta go where they want you. But if you want to get to the next level, you gotta play at least high D2 or high D1 to give yourself a shot.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of NAIA players that play overseas and are, they really make good, they make good money and they play for big leagues and so I think it's getting better now to the point, and
they letting more people in.
Yeah, and I think, well, not right now, but but I think a lot of it comes down to who you know too. Like, does your coach know somebody? My coach knew somebody, and that was a big deal for me when I signed with her. And do I think I probably would have had the opportunity to go overseas if I had gone to Oregon State? Yeah, I do.
Most likely.
Yeah, I do. I think the option would have been there. I think maybe even different opportunities. But at the end of the day, this is what I tell my parents. At the end of the day, I did what I wanted to. I got to.
You had some success.
Yeah, my goal in life was to be a professional basketball player. I did it.
Right.
And so.
People can't say that.
Yeah, and I even got to spend a summer with the Tulsa Shock. Now when people are like, "Oh, you spent a summer with them?" I'm like, "Yeah." I wasn't going and traveling to games and stuff, but I was working out with them and I was going to practices. I was traveling back and forth.
When did you get that call to go work out with the Tulsa Shock?
Actually, they had an open workout. They had an open tryout that they just had you come in, and they had a series of opportunity, and so you had to make it each level, right? So you got to go and you got to work out, and then the next level and the next level, and so I got to spend I think I was with them for about 6 weeks. And
that's legit. That means you was putting in work,
right?
I didn't ever step on the court. It wasn't but I got to spend the summer being part of their organization,
right?
And that taught me a lot.
How
about
rigorous was that?
It was tough because I was commuting back and forth from Oklahoma City, and they were in the middle of season, so whenever they were gone and traveling, I didn't have to go, and, and it's not like I didn't get paid. I wasn't on their roster. I wasn't getting paid or anything, but
You was grinding.
I mean, but I was learning a lot. Like, I learned a lot about basketball. And I just learned a lot about the professional game versus, you know, the collegiate game. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm good in college, so I'm going to be good at professional level. That doesn't necessarily...
Doesn't translate.
Yeah, because, like you said before, colleges are programs. When you get to the professional level, it's your job.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's a business. And so... if you don't show up to play, like, you don't get you don't get second, third, fourth, fifth opportunities.
Right.
You know, you have to show up and perform your job. Just like I go to work every day and I do my job. If I don't go to work every day and do my job, I'm gonna get fired.
For sure.
You know.
For sure.
So, and it taught me a lot how to change my mentality from, you know, being that program, you know, day to day, family oriented, to being like, oh, I have to, you know, I'm over here getting paid to do this. I'm not over here. You know, I'm not just coming over here to.
Right, have fun.
I don't get to. Well, I don't get to have bad games. Like.
Right.
You know, like one game. Okay, 3, 4, 5 bad games.
You don't get to have that.
Yeah.
That's legit. You don't get to have bad games because there's somebody out there waiting to take your spot.
There's somebody out there working harder than you right now to get your spot. So every time you think you're working hard enough, there's somebody working harder.
Right.
So. Kobe taught us that.
I mean, so it sounded like you had your way. My man, let me get that hammer before you hurt yourself. We might need. That's the only thing we're not gonna let you get.
Come
before
here,
you diddy bop yourself.
Come here, y'all.
Come on. There you go. He's like, I might want to do some damage with that hammer.
Thank you.
There you go.
You gonna get something else?
Yeah, because I got the whole tool bag over there.
Hey, come here.
No, you might need to get that tool bag from my man.
Under the chair. The whole toolie.
But so sound like you got your way. Just whatever you envisioned, you manifested it, right?
Yeah.
So then, when did you step away from the game professionally, and why?
So actually, when I didn't step away because of him, but the year I found out I was pregnant with him, in February of that year, I had gone to Argentina, and I was supposed to be there. I was only supposed to be there for like 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. You don't. When he finds something, he don't want to be distracted.
Right.
I was only supposed to be there for 6 to 8 weeks, and I had a really bad experience and ended up coming home after about 4 days. At this time, I did have an agent, so I was lucky that my agent traveled with me. That's very rare; doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah,
but my agent
sure.
was traveling with me because he had multiple of us that
I was trying to turn it off.
that had signed in South America. So just had a bad experience. At that time, I was really iffy whether or not I wanted to sign that contract anyways. I kind of was ready. I had already started my HR profession, and I was kind of ready to just move on. And it's lonely. Like, a lot of people don't realize how lonely it is playing overseas. I mean, you meet people and you have your team, though. But when your time zone is 12 hours different than your family's.
No, we don't play on outlets.
Look, you're going to spend more time telling him what to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, when your time zone's 12 hours different than your family's, and
so it's hard to talk to people.
It's hard to talk to people, and I mean, you can only share so much too, right? It's different to experience things with them in physical person. You know, you can't sit there and describe everything.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. So you just put the ball down recently.
Yeah. So that's when I stopped. That's when I knew I was done playing professionally. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready to start a career. About 4 months later, I found out I was pregnant anyways.
Right.
So I was like, well, yeah. It was like God telling me, you know. I actually had just gotten a new job at the time, like right after, you know, I started my new job right after I got back. So it was just.
So you got your degree in human resources?
My degree is in behavioral psychology, but it translates really well, actually. So so I do HR now. I'm actually going to law school in January, start law school in January.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So my whole life about to be a train wreck, I'm sure. This will be it every day.
A train wreck. That's a good way to sum it up, because, you know, it's just, oh man, like the confidence you gained from, you know, playing from high school.
Rodeoing.
Oh, let's go back to rodeo. From rodeo, basketball, volleyball, overseas, Then you were so confident. You went and, you put yourself out there with the Tulsa Shock, like you don't get to do all of that type of stuff. And then now you're about to jump into the whole, the law thing. I feel like your work ethic from basketball is what's translating into your confidence to be like, I can tackle this because of everything else that I've done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what message would you have for any young athletes that, that are on the fence of should I play sports or should I not? Any sport, don't even matter.
Yeah.
Rodeo.
I would say do it if you like it. Don't do it because everybody else does it. Because if you don't like it, you're going to be miserable because it's hard. Mm-hmm. And you do things that are hard if you enjoy doing them. Exactly. But you don't do things that are hard if you don't like them. You just start to regret it and have resentment. But if you like it, do it. If you want something to gain from it, the best thing you're going to gain from sports is real life experiences, right? Because sports are the number one translation to real life.
To real life.
I mean, look at the workforce, right? Like, if you are an uncoachable kid, you're an unemployable adult.
Big facts.
Gym
alert. She dropping gems. Oh man, can you repeat that? Because it's scrambling in my head. Can you repeat that? If you are
an uncoachable kid,
right,
you're an unemployable adult.
There it is. I feel like we should drop the mic on that, but I got a couple more questions. I know you coached. Let's touch on that real quick. When did you start coaching with who, and why don't you coach anymore?
So when I was finishing up school, since I transferred, I had to finish up some school and stuff. Coach T actually brought me on as a student assistant, and she gave me some at OCU. And so in between when I wasn't overseas and stuff, because I was more playing, a lot of players go during the wintertime, but I was getting a lot of contracts in the summertime, so I was getting them spring and summer. So in between, I was actually coaching with her. So I got to coach 2 years at the NAI level as a college coach. That was my first coaching experience.
That's on your resume.
And that's on my resume. I got 2 national championships my first 2 years coaching.
Oh my gosh.
Back to back.
That's dope. So have you ever thought about coaching, being a high school coach or having your own program?
I have. I coached high school AAU. I coached a high school AAU team for a really long time. And I really enjoyed
team name, real quick.
Teamwork Oklahoma. They're not an organization anymore. Okay. But yeah, I had a great group of girls when I started with them, and they stayed with me for 3 years. And so after I finished with them, I did 1 year just with a new group, and then
there he goes again.
Yeah. And so I kind of fell off with coaching, but I really enjoyed coaching that group of girls. They were hardworking, and I like the freedom of AAU, of being an AAU coach, because I have a tendency not to be able to just tone it down.
Right.
So I need to be able to say what I want to say and not have to worry about the politics of it.
Right.
And so I was very fortunate that this AAU team accepted that about me. I don't think I could do that at the high school level because I don't think that they would be.
Man, y'all seen that one video of that dude? He won a championship. I feel like it was in baseball. Mm-hmm. It was viral sometime during right before the pandemic or something like that. But this dude, he won a championship and whatever, he won something. They got on the bus and he was so excited. He was like, yeah, and he started, using curse words and explicits, you know what I mean? And he got fired because he was expressing himself with his team.
Even though it was in a positive manner.
It was in a positive manner.
Wow.
They won. He was turned up for his team.
Yeah.
Got let go.
See, and that would be me.
Got let go.
It would be positive or negative. I would probably be fired.
Right. Either way, it's coming out.
Yeah.
But golly. So I see. You knew yourself.
Yeah.
And you knew what you're capable of, and you know what fits for you. So.
Yeah.
There it is, right?
Yeah.
So then, all right. Well, I feel like we done covered it all. We bounced all over the place, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Had a blast. So we got to get you to sign this ball.
Oh, okay.
Got to get you to sign this ball. I'm gonna hand it over to Twan.
We gotta find out where Iverson put the pin. Where he put the pin at?
I think he hit the. Oh no, he didn't.
There go one. That's all we need. And I found a binky.
Oh.
If y'all don't know, AI done turned the set up.
Love it though.
He done turned the set up.
We're gonna be cleaning for.
Next time she need to let me know, I'll bring baby J.
They gonna be both turned up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Gotta put that number on there too.
Number 15.
He done blessed me with a whole bunch of candy. I've been over here munching.
Oh, let me see that. I gotta peep that. What'd you sign next? Let me see. What'd you sign next to? Oh yeah, you got your own little corner.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, sir.
Gotta do it on my own.
Yes, sir. Man, had a blast.
Yeah,
thank you
thanks
for coming.
having me.
I mean, you could have easily said, "I got my kid, I ain't coming." You know, but you came through.
I'm a commitment person. I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
And that's, I mean, you got that from basketball.
Yeah, I believe that. I do.
I mean, it translates so well. It translates so well. And for anyone watching, I want you to know that it's not always going to be easy. But if you're on the fence of, you know, girls especially, if you're on the fence, if I'm going to play sports or not, look at Katelynn. You know, she got a lot of her confidence through sports, you know. So if you're, you know, you're like on the fence, like, where do I belong? You know, I don't know where I belong. I don't know who's my crowd, what my crowd is. You know, try a sport. Try a sport. You know, you don't have to be an outcast. So.
And also, y'all, like we got going, we got this Nikki Teasley tournament or camp coming up.
Yes,
right?
sir.
October 17th.
October 17th, Nikki Teasley played for the LA Sparks. She got a championship or two, All-Star Game MVP. She is coming to Norman, Oklahoma from D.C.
We're setting the ladies up right. We had two great lady guests. We got a great lady camp coming. So
there it is. So check that out. October 17th. Right now we got the group/team rates at $300 a team right now because it's less about the money and more about just making sure that Nikki Teasley has a good turnout because we want players like her to keep coming to our city and keep putting on so we can keep making women's basketball, you know, put them on the map, you know what I'm saying? Because there's some ballers out here, man. I need them to know.
I know some good, look, I know some girl high school players that nice.
But they out here, so we need to continue to shed the light on them. And we need to continue to get the icons out here and keep pouring into our players. And, you know, I want one day for us to be in, you know, in competition with Texas, you know, because Texas be out there running things low key. So, anyways, there it is.
Cali boys.
Oh well, Cali's a little too far from us, you know. That's why I ain't bring them up. But there it is, man. Thank you for hanging out with us as we drop gems that we picked up in these gyms and in the rodeo field. Oh. Let's go. Na. Peace.
Tried to drown me. This hoop is like my life jacket. This ice in my veins is something Titanic. Lockdown defense kept me out the center for detention. Divine intervention passes over to my center. Alleyways are the alley-oops. Some got no looks and passed away when somebody shoot. Back in court duo, but nobody hoops. The wrists follow through in the cuffs, got a loop. Pick a book up, picked up and get booked. It's just you and I, out running suicides. Me, I was out running suicide. Boy, I'm going in, dropping gems that I picked up in these gyms. I can't slack, I've been down and back. I'm just trying to share a few tales from this thing called life. Count my assists, man, I swear that basketball really saved my life. Yeah, I swear it saved my life. Let's go.